has a mind of her own. Well, I would hope so. It would be pretty bad if she had to share it with someone else. But she's very independent, and she tries to make decisions for herself. So when she has her mind focused on something, it's really hard to distract her and to refocus her on the matters at hand, like going to bed. Yep, that's the hardest part of the day. But when we need her to refocus, to pay attention to us versus the markers in her hand, let's say, but when we do need her to refocus or to pay attention to us versus the markers in her hand, preparing to redecorate our house, we have to tell her multiple times. Sometimes twice works because we got a smidgen of her attention by saying it once. I'm sure you have no idea what I'm talking about, as your children listen the first time you tell them to do something, right? But if I'm teaching a little bit something new, for example, when I was teaching her the letter sounds, I would show her an apple, say A, apple, ah. She got it the first time. Not. But I told her again and again and again. Well, one night she came up to me, showed me an A and said, A says ah, and then proceeded to run off to return to her daily scheduled routine. I want her to know her letter sounds. I couldn't just tell her once. I had to tell her and show her multiple times. Adults are the same way. Sorry to disappoint those that thought it eventually ended. And you could tell someone something once. Recently, I discovered that God has done this. Yep. In a period of 12 verses, we are told something 4 times. Goodness. Does he think we aren't listening? Well, it's probably true. But in Joshua 1, verse 6, 7, 9, and 18, we are told to be strong and very courageous. Man, that must be really important if we're told 4 different times to be strong and courageous. Unfortunately, as a human, I'm innately weak and scared. You turn all the lights off on me, and I scream like a little girl. No joke. So how am I supposed to be strong and courageous? Where does that strength come from? He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40, verse 29. Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength. Isaiah 40, verse 31. I can do all things through Christ, who gives me strength. Philippians 4:13. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Ephesians 6:10. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. For when I am weak, then am I strong. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9 and 10. I could go on, but our strength is not man-made. It is God's strength. He gives us the strength that we need. You don't need to be Arnold Schwarzenegger to have the strength that we are told to have in Joshua 1. But we do need to rely on God to have the strength we are told to have. You can be weak physically, but through God, you are strong spiritually. That is more important. You can be a bodybuilder and be the weakest person. It's not about muscles. It's about God. I want to be strong and courageous. I know my strength comes from Him. I just need to wait upon the Lord. This is only possible by God's amazing grace.
Today's verse is, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I started with a white blank canvas and began painting on it. I used vanilla. Three different shades of pink, 2 shades of purple, and rose gold. Once I painted it, And once it dried, I then used 2 different markers. I used a regular black Sharpie, and then I used sapphire. So this color, it's a metallic blue. I used that on there as well. And so join me as I show you how I letter.